Impact Driven Entrepreneur, episode number 41. This one is all about manifesting clients.
Welcome to the Impact Driven Entrepreneur, the podcast that helps you expand your reach and convert that reach into clients so you can lead your tribe with confidence and create change in the world while living the life you desire. And now your host, certified business coach and consultant, Mariana Ruiz.
Welcome back to the Impact Driven Entrepreneur. So excited to have you here. In this episode, I wanted to shake things up a little bit for one really awesome reason. So I'm going to be going away on vacation this week. We are going to be going on a Caribbean cruise. And so I was like, how can I make this really light and fun and also super powerful for you? So I had somebody in the Impact Formula, one of my clients there, who's been using these mindset strategies to manifest clients. And I was like, okay, cool. We need to actually talk about this more. And so that's what this is going to be. This is a rebroadcast on a Facebook Live that was extremely popular, as well as it became a podcast in Mom Entrepreneur Success Podcast back when it was the old branding. So you'll hear that in the beginning with the introduction. And I wanted to leave it there as a lovely little reminder of, number one, how far we've come on the show. And the evolution is a normal part of having any sort of show or business or anything. And so that's one part. And I think the other thing that's really important is, especially when I was coaching moms a lot, what would come up is a lot of, I want clients and I want money, but I'm also struggling to fit them into my schedule. So a lot of those early episodes were about managing time and money and all of that. So if you're interested in more of those topics, go back to the archives. There are so many episodes before we even rebranded. Some of the popular ones that have been really, really popular are passive income products with Laura Brandenburg. I think that's episode 4, season 1. And another cool one was one that I mentioned in this replay, and that's with Gretchen Mullen. It's about sales strategies that you can use to increase your sales. So those are two related topics that I think you might find interesting as well. So hang on tight for this trip down memory lane to this Facebook Live all about manifesting clients that became then a podcast episode. And I want to just say here, I want to use this as a perfect example and a model for you to where can you make things easy for you this week if you want to, or another week coming up. If you have something fun and exciting happening, how can you make it easy, right? Can you repurpose past content that has done really well? Can you make it easier on yourself somehow? Permission granted if you need it. And here we go. Enjoy this episode all about manifesting clients.
Why people spin their wheels is because they haven't built the foundation of strong beliefs for success.
Welcome to the Mom Entrepreneur Success Podcast with Mariana C. Ruiz, the podcast for the go-getter mom entrepreneur who refuses to let motherhood slow her down from achieving success and making an impact. Tune in Mondays to learn the success secrets of top influencers who also happen to be moms so that you can reach the success, freedom, and impact you desire.
This episode of the Mom Entrepreneur Success Podcast is brought to you by my Freedom Coaching Program. Are you serious about making a full-time living with your business? Then get ready to implement the strategies that get you real results in less time. I will support you 110% for 6 months to create a business that has real results and real profits. In just 6 months, you'll have a business that's consistently generating leads, making an impact online, and bringing in cash to not only support the business itself, but also to support your family, all from the comfort of your own home, so that you have the freedom to spend as much or as little time with your children as you want to. And not just that, I have had clients who have gone from a brand new business idea to paying clients in just 3 weeks, as well as clients who have had their first 5K month within the first month of working together. So if this sounds like something that would benefit you, head on over to marianacruiz.com and click on the Work With Me tab. There you'll find all of the information about the program as well as a link to my scheduling app so that you can go ahead and schedule a time to see if working together would be a good fit for both of us. So head on over to marianacruiz.com and click on the Work With Me tab. Okay, now back to the show. Welcome back to the Mom Entrepreneur Success Podcast. In this episode, I wanted to share with you how to go about manifesting clients. We're going to get deep into the behind the scenes work. I'm not talking about sales techniques, although if you want to listen to some really great six-figure sales techniques, go back to last week's episode with Gretchen Mall. That's a great episode for you if you're struggling with sales. In this episode, what I wanted to do was share with you some of the techniques that I do behind the scenes in order to manifest clients. This was something that was requested to me by one of my clients. She asked me specifically what I was doing and kind of what my mindset practice looks like around getting clients. And so that's what I want to share with you today. I have sold out my coaching practice twice in the last 6 months. And well, I have one spot opening up in February, but after that, I will be completely booked until the end of May. So somebody had asked me, how do I do this? How do I manifest clients? It's going to be a little bit woo. So this is something that I have started doing when I was really in need, right, to be getting some clients. And I wasn't really sure how to go about it. So I kind of was throwing everything at the wall. And also it allowed me to see a whole other side, which is the spiritual, energetic side of business and getting clients. So I want to talk about it in a minute. Let me just share this out. And if you know of anybody that would benefit, please go ahead and share it out. All right. The very first thing that you want to do when you want to manifest some clients is to be open to receiving clients. This is a struggle for some of us because we have so many limiting beliefs. We have so many things that we intentionally or unintentionally block ourselves from getting clients. And this can come in the form of, I don't have enough time for clients because then how am I going to work on the rest of my business? It can come in the form of, I'm not worthy of receiving money, or I'm not worthy of getting paid for what I'm doing because it's just so fun and I love it. It also can be in many other forms. But so the very first thing you want to do is look at, are you open to receiving payment? Are you open to receiving clients? And wherever that blockage is, right? So if it's, I'm not really open to receiving money. So if it might be that, then you want to work on that. And how we work on it is basically through EFT tapping is one of the tools, right? One of the tools that you can use. You can use affirmations. You can use, I think they're called I just call them reminders. So reminders for yourself around your house. So it could be simple things like, moving this rubber band from one side to the other every time you have a negative thought. It could be anytime that you think I don't have time, you automatically do something that's going to stop that. You want to stop the thoughts. You want to stop the negative thoughts. You want to stop the limiting beliefs. You want to stop in their tracks before they continue to get momentum. So that is one of the very first things. You want to be sure that you're open to receiving. And I don't hear people talk about this too much. So I really wanted to talk about it because it's a really important step. It is really that simple. It's changing your mind about things and the way that you talk about it to be in a more positive light. Of course, you can kind of change your mindset around what receiving means, right? So when you are open to receiving, it also means that right? So sometimes the work that we do together might be something like, well, I'm afraid because I'm going to take someone's money, right? So that could be one of the limiting beliefs or one of the stories that you keep telling yourself. And so when you switch that to saying, well, if I get paid for this, I can help them for an X number of weeks, and that would have a huge transformation on their life. So when you switch it from what it means to you to what it means to other people,
that can really start to be therapeutic and help you push past that point of not feeling like you can receive. Another thing is it could feel too easy. Literally, this is a thing. So you might think, well, it might just feel too easy, or I didn't really work hard enough to deserve that. And that's one that you really want to examine, because you can really drive yourself to working hard and then just burning out and then not being able to sustain your business, right? So one thing that people in general, and this isn't just you, James, like this is a lot of people struggle with this, is that they think that if they work a certain amount, they're then worthy of something, of getting paid for it, or that they, then should be paid for it. And that's just not the way that entrepreneurship is. Sometimes it can be the hardest thing in the world to make money, and sometimes it can be the easiest thing in the world. Literally, I got a check last week that was from a blog post that I did. So I literally just posted the blog post and received $750 around there as commission for an affiliate product that I put on a blog post. Literally, the blog post took me all but maybe 20 minutes to write. It was a very simple blog post. It wasn't a very thought through blog post. And had this been a few months ago, I would have not gotten that check. I can guarantee it to you, because I did not believe that I could make money easily. Now that I believe that I can make money easily, then it's suddenly coming to me, right? So one of the things you want to do when you're working through this many limiting beliefs is realizing that you do it through your beliefs. And that's what you really want to change, is the way that your basic fundamental thought process is. You want that to be a belief that it is possible for you. How do you believe without evidence? I'm going to so challenge you on that one, James. So the question is, how do you believe without evidence? And I think that there's so much more evidence than we're open to seeing. Okay, example. You might have a strategy that you're going to post on Facebook. Maybe you're going to post one time a day for, let's say, a few months, so that you can start to get some visibility for your business. That might be a strategy that you're working on. And maybe you're driving traffic to something. Maybe it's your blog, maybe it's your group. I'm not really sure. Would have to look at what you're doing. But so let's say that's what you're doing. You might think, I have no traction. Nobody's seeing my stuff. Nobody wants to buy my stuff. All of that stuff. But I think to the contrary, I think if you have 1 like, that's evidence. If you have 2 likes, that's evidence. And so we choose to focus on the fact that maybe we had no comments, and we failed to see that we did have evidence. It just was not acknowledged. And so again, this is kind of like open to receiving, but it's really open to seeing, right? You want to be open to seeing the evidence that it really and truly is there, no matter how small, because sometimes it is that small. Sometimes it's literally, I got a like. Sometimes it's that small. 1 like is evidence. Only 1 person likes my stuff, not 10 or 20. Exactly. And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about. I'm so glad you brought this up, James, because one of the things that I wanted to talk about in this live stream is that when you're focusing on getting a client and manifesting 1 client, right? You don't focus on the fact that you have 0 clients. That's actually like totally the counter opposite of where your focus should be. Your focus, in order to get that client, your focus will be in how you feel when you have that client. And so this is how you can start to work through that, is through visualizations at this point, right? So now you maybe have made an offer and you're ready to start to get the client. You're open to receiving the client. You've worked through some of the beliefs. Now it's time to visualize yourself with said client that you just hired. How do you start to do that? And you could do it through journaling. You could do it through just going through it through your brain, like in your brain, just close your eyes. And that's the thing. This is available to you at any moment and it's free. So what you can do is start to visualize what it would feel like when you get the client. So what does it feel like on the discovery call with the client? What does it feel like when you have your first appointment together? What does it feel like when you open up your bank account and you see the money there? What does it feel like and what does it look like? And close your eyes and walk yourself through that and live in those good thoughts of, I just got a client. And literally, it sounds like way too simplistic, way too easy, but that is where the focus needs to be, not in the fact that you still have no clients. Okay. So you want it to be in the future and the positive, not in the present and the negative. And the reason is because you're going to attract more negative. Then you're going to psych yourself out. You're going to be all stressed out for the call, right? Like you could imagine the call going exceptionally well. What would that look like? What is the flow of the conversation like? What is it like for you? What do they feel? What is the connection you have? I had a previous client ask me about this today, which is why I wanted to do this live stream. And she had asked me, do you visualize it with a previous client or with like, who do you visualize? And I do it really simply because I do all my calls over the phone. I just do it as if I'm talking on the phone and I do it as myself and I just imagine the feeling. The feeling is more important than who it is that you're visualizing. But you do want to also think about like the characteristics of that ideal client because you're going to eventually work with them. So what are the characteristics of your ideal client so that you can have a really great relationship back and forth and really have a great connection and a great outcome for them? James asks, I think I always look at the negative. If I get clients, I will say I don't have enough, no matter how many I get. Exactly. And then that only just perpetuates not only the negative thinking, the negative thoughts, but it also doesn't allow you to even enjoy what you have created. And that's one of the things that I think is so difficult for us as high achievers. And high achievers is like, you're here, you want to get to the next one. You're here, you want to get to the next one. And no matter where you are, you're not going to feel satisfied. You're not going to be feeling happy. A high achiever doesn't mean that you always reach your goals every single time. A high achiever is that you're always reaching for more. So I do want to make that distinction there really quickly. But that is one of the traits, right, of a high achiever. Is like you want to go to the next level and you're wondering, why am I not at the next one? And you don't look down at the mountain and see how far you've actually come. And so when you start to focus on that, you will get more of those great things. I don't know how to deal with positive things in my life. That's been one of my main issues. I'm struggling to enjoy the book launch, even though it's a dream come true. Yes, and that is an upper limit problem. In other words, ULP, upper limit problem. If you don't know what I'm talking about, the book is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks. It's amazing. And yes, James, you're a high achiever. And so the book is The Big Leap by Gay Hendricks, and it describes this whole thing about upper limiting. And what it is when you are in a situation and everything's going great, and suddenly you manifest something that is horrible, or you start to worry about something that's completely irrelevant, irrational, unnecessary, because you can't take in too much of that good feeling. You start to feel guilty that you felt good for as long as you have. And that could be a minute, that could be 20 minutes, that could be days. It depends on kind of your threshold. And one of the questions that he asks is how much greatness, or how much, I'm not sure how exactly he words it, but this is kind of how I imagine it, is like, how much beautiful stuff are you willing to accept into your life? And what you're doing through the work that he teaches in the book is for you to expand the amount of joy and the beauty of your life a little bit at a time, because we're all starting from a certain baseline. So I'm not asking you to go from I hate my life and everything in it to, oh my God, it's a beautiful world, right? You don't do that overnight. But what you can do is start to work a little bit and allow yourself maybe 5 minutes of joy, maybe 10 minutes of joy, and it just progressively increases. And which brings me to, that is my word for the year, is abundance, because this is something that as I've grown, I've seen that I am upper limiting. As I get more money into my business, there are other areas where I start to suddenly flip out because I'm not perfect in every single area, right? And so when I sense myself upper limiting, that is one of the things that I do is I go into gratitude and I go into like, let me just expand a little bit to feel just a little bit better. And just that little bit at a time is all you need, and finding creative ways. So I kind of hit an upper limit on an income ceiling last year. And when that happened, I literally had to stop tracking my money. That was how I overcame it, because I knew that there was a lot of fear associated with making more money than I had ever made in my life. And so I had to really just get to that point where I accepted and being open to receiving. And also I had to cut off the counting so that I didn't consciously think about it as frequently. And that did help me to bust that income ceiling. So that was cool. James said, wow, I would love to be in that position. And you so can. It's 100% possible for you. And how you do it is through the work. And this is what I call the work, because it's so much simpler for me to say, go set up a landing page, go set up these 5 web pages, link them all together, and we're going to drive Facebook ads there, and you're going to make $1 million, right? It's so easy for us to say that. But what really is the harder work is this internal stuff that ends up blocking you from getting clients, blocking you from receiving more money in any way, right? And whether it's through affiliates, whether it's through Facebook ads, it doesn't even really matter. But what matters is that these underlying beliefs then become actions. And then those actions can actually sabotage you. And that's what ends up happening. And why people spin their wheels is because they haven't built the foundation of strong beliefs for success. So that's success mindset and kind of how that all goes. So let me just recap a little bit. When you want to manifest a client, what you want to do is focus on visualizing that sales process for that client. Visualize yourself receiving the money, be open to receiving that money, and then visualizing yourself actually serving that client and being okay with all of that and being confident, right, with that. And one of the things I teach in the sales conversation, especially when you're starting out, is to use an alter ego, kind of like Beyonce does, and use things that will kind of help you to feel more confident on the sales call so that it all flows really easily. And one of the things that you can do is visualizing. And I took classes in sports psychology because my background is in psychology. And one of the things that they would teach us is for success of athletes, what they needed to do was visualize their actual success, like their swing and their body positioning, like just the mere fact of visualizing it allowed them like multiple fold advantages in games. And that's something that you can do as well in a situation like a webinar or like a sales call. So, or even like a video. Because I'll tell you, the first time I ever did a video, I was so terrified.
And now look at this. I mean, I do Facebook Lives multiple times a week. It's incredible. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode and this rebroadcast episode of the Impact Driven Entrepreneur. It's been so cool to go down memory lane with you guys. As I was re-listening to this episode, I realized it's been almost an entire year since that video was recorded live, and it's so cool because those principles for mindset still really apply today and are so important. I still have some openings for some profit boost assessment calls, so if you want to know how you can increase your profit and impact in your business, I take a look at you as a whole being as well as your business structure and how it's functioning and the health of all of that together to help you to analyze where your focus needs to be for the next 30 to 90 days in order to increase the profit margins of your business. So if that's something that you want to do, please go to impactdrivenentrepreneur.com and just click on free consultation at the top. And I would be more than happy to do that with you. Now, I do these for free. People ask me, like, why do you do those for free? Well, I do this for free because a percentage of people who sign up will go on and do my 6-month coaching program, either a group program or one-on-one. And I do have openings for both coming up. Again, go to impactdrivenentrepreneur.com and click on schedule a free consultation. It's right at the top right corner. It's pink. You can't miss it. Have an amazing day, and I will chat with you next week. Head on over to impactdrivenentrepreneur.com where you can find an arsenal of videos, blog posts, and previous podcast episodes to help you increase your profit and impact. Again, impactdrivenentrepreneur.com and click on blog. Enjoy.